Hey, young adults, Becky here. Sorry we couldn't get together tonight for our dinner meeting, but I thought I had already prepared some of this data about the Vatican, so I thought I would share it with all of you. I also will put in our email a link to a video about the Vatican that I found really interesting. It's just a real short one that gives you some of this information as well. I find the Vatican to be really interesting, especially in light of what's going on in the world. Sarah and I had a discussion because when they closed St. Peter's Square, it said the Italian police had come in to close the square. And the Italian police are not the police for the Vatican. So it was actually in cooperation with the Italian government. And that has a lot to do with how the Vatican operates. So I thought I'd share just a few things that I was going to share with you this evening. The Vatican is actually considered the world's smallest country. It is a country in and of itself, though it is surrounded by Italy. It is a country, and it is only 100 acres. And to think of that, that's about 1/8 of the size of New York Central Park. So that's pretty teeny tiny. The popes have not lived there since Jesus's time. Actually, it wasn't until more like the 4th century when they started to live there. And it wasn't recognized as a sovereign state until 1929. Because it is its own country, a lot of people when they visit the Vatican, they like to send mail from there because the Vatican has its own flag, its own coins, its own postage stamps, and its own license plates. There are only about 800 people who live there, many of whom obviously work for the Vatican. And we do consider it a monarchy, and the head of the monarchy is the Pope. If you talk about what the full governing body of the Vatican is, obviously the Pope would be the head monarchy, and then the governing body is what is considered the Holy See, the S-E-E Holy See, not water. And the Holy See, actually, they maintain the diplomatic relations with all the countries around the world. So, for example, you might have heard us speak of it. Here in the United States, we have an apostolic nunciature, which is like an embassy in DC, and that's where the apostolic nuncio is located, is there in DC. It is incorrect ever to say that decisions have been made by the Vatican. The Vatican is actually the geographic area, whereas the Holy See is actually the group that makes the decision. The Vatican does not. The Roman Curia, which are all the offices that deal with tasks such as supervision of Catholic education, appointments of bishops, the schedule of the Pope, all the channels of communication, those are called the Roman Curia, and they're actually considered part of the Holy See. Most of the employees of the Roman Curia are actually just lay people that go home each night. But when the Pope dies or resigns, the College of Cardinals they do take responsibility for all the administrative duties until a new leader is selected. So even when a pope dies, it's not like the Vatican comes to a stop. All the day-to-day stuff that the Catholic Church needs to have done, they still are able to do it. And obviously you all know this because you've lived through this, which is when a pope dies and a new pope or resigns, as we've had with Benedict. The way that a new pope is picked is called the papal conclave. Now, a lot of this information I got from a book. It's called Catholic Traditions and Treasures. It's a great book that has not just information about the Vatican, but about many other things. So I thought you'd find this interesting. We have set up a new email address. It's called sjnprayers@gmail.com. If you have any intentions during this time, please send them our way. Otherwise, hope to see you soon. Have a great afternoon. Bye now.